Welcome to the Pave Podcast. Join us as we explore innovative biblical strategies and revolutionary tools to empower you to be a catalyst for church growth. Be inspired by church growth practitioners who are expanding God's kingdom in their communities and around the world. Now here's your host, Jonathan L. Smith.
Welcome to the Pave Podcast. My name is Jonathan Smith, the Director of Church Health and Growth with Texas Baptist, the Baptist General Convention of Texas. The Pave Podcast is made possible by your gifts to the Cooperative Program and also by your gifts to the Mary Hill Davis Offering. Today, I am honored to have my good friend, Eric Brown, who I like to call EB, with us today. Eric is the pastor of New Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church in Greenville, Texas, and Eric is also a Pave coach. So, Eric, EB, welcome to the Pave Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you here today. So, one of the things that you need to know about my friend Eric is this: if you need a good restaurant, Eric and I live probably like 5 or 6 miles away from one another, and you've been there for a long time, right? Where we'll say on the east side of Dallas, so no one comes trying to find us at. And so one day we were talking and I said, hey, I need a good seafood restaurant. And you told me where to go.
Right.
And now I go there all the time. And then we had lunch one day and we went to a place. Don't say the name of it.
Oh, is that?
Yeah. It is fantastic.
Right.
And now I need to go. So how is it that you just know?
Well, I'm a foodie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a foodie. So for me, like, I'll try a restaurant, and just go taste it and see what it's like, whatever. Then I'll make my recommendations. So,
okay.
Yeah. You can't miss me with restaurants.
So what's your favorite genre of restaurant?
Ooh. Should I really testify?
Yeah, come on, bring it on.
Mexican food. I love Mexican.
You were because
I was like, really testify of this is, so I love Mexican food. Just absolutely.
Yes and amen. That's my second favorite. Seafood, the Mexican food.
Yeah.
So then how do you base, what do you use as this is my test to tell you if this is a good Mexican food restaurant?
Chips and salsa. Yeah,
Okay.
chips and salsa. If the chips are, not oily and all that, not too salty and all that, and then there's just the texture that comes with it, you can tell. And then the salsa obviously is not like, I don't want to slam any particular restaurant, but you could tell if it's really authentic or not.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
It's queso and it's cheese enchilada for me.
See, I can't do cheese.
Yeah.
I'm lactose intolerant, so I'd be in for real trouble. So everything I order, I have to have no cheese. And of course,
Mexican food is your favorite.
And they always mess up my order because they always bring it with cheese. And I'm like, so y'all are going to make me go back to my Chinese food. So love Mexican food, though.
So I was in California recently and freaked out. My son lives there because we sat down at this Mexican food restaurant and it was $8.95 for chips and salsa.
Ooh.
And I couldn't do it.
What?
Yeah, I know.
No, you should have tried it. That's a testimony you could have lived with over. You should have tried it.
Man, I'm not with you on that, EB. I'm just not with you on that.
So I went to Colorado about a month ago now.
Okay.
We were in Denver and actually more Aurora.
Okay.
And so we went to this Mexican restaurant, and so the manager standing at the door, and he was like, do y'all want to sit on the restaurant side or the bar side? Right. I was like, well, what's the difference? He's like, well, the bar side has all the TVs. I was like, let's sit on the bar side. Right. It's just, it's nothing crazy. It's a whole bunch of seating and whatever. So we're sitting there watching the game, and he brings these chips and salsa. Listen, that could have been my whole meal. It was so authentic. It was so good.
Eric is a fantastic leader. And I'm so proud to be your friend, so proud of the ministry that you're doing. I'm so honored to have you as a Pave coach because you are living church revitalization, church health and growth. So we just wanted today give our listeners some encouragement, some hope, to know that church revitalization really is possible. Like it is. There's so many pastors that are living it, and you are a great leader and have such a great story. So tell us about New Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church in Greenville. How long you've been there? What has happened since you? Just kind of walk us through it.
Okay. So May 25th, 2014, when I started. That was my first Sunday there.
All right.
I've been there 10 years, 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's been a journey.
Sure.
It's been a journey. The ebb and flow of ministry, I've experienced a lot of it. When I first got there, kind of reminded me of Ezekiel 37.
Okay.
I'm not going to say dead, but I will say dry and disconnected.
All right. Yeah.
People were really scattered because of their familiarity, right? Some people were relatives. Some people had known each other, grew up together, went to school together.
Some familial.
Yeah. And so people were just kind of, they were really disconnected. And I'll never forget, I went in, introduced myself to persons that I did not see, obviously, during the interviewing process.
Right.
And so I tried to hug a few people. And I remember one guy told me, he's like, "Pastor, I don't hug." And I was like, "Oh, Jesus, what if I got myself?"
Because you're a big hugger.
Yeah, I love to hug everybody. And, we're talking 6 people in a sanctuary.
6 people.
And they were scattered in Sunday school. I'm like, man. And so, of course, they were like, "Hey, you're supposed to be teaching." I was like, "Well, turns out y'all didn't tell me that beforehand. Nonetheless, give me a book." And as God would have it, it was John 13, and it was about love.
Yeah.
And hadn't studied the lesson, but I knew the text, enough. And so, literally, by the time I got finished teaching, and it was not just me, it was obviously the Holy Spirit in me. People were crying, people were hugging, and the gentleman who told me, "Pastor, I want to take hugs," he came and hugged me right after.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he said, "I'll never miss another hug."
Huh.
And so from that moment, God was showing me that this is what this church needs, right? And so
let's go back for just 1 sec. There were 6 people in the Bible study group or 6 people in the congregation?
No, 6 people in Sunday school.
Okay.
There were 13 people when I first started.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, of course, everybody just comes to Sunday school. And so they'll do it baseball.
One Sunday school class.
Right. Literally one. And obviously, everything traditional about the Sunday school. And so from that point, the church, the more I just kind of love people and hug people and reminded people that shepherds smell like sheep.
Yeah.
The church started to change, and people would come and people would visit, and then the church over about 6 months or whatever started growing, right? And then we were able to tap into Texas A&M Commerce, and so college students started coming. And so, then more of the family members of people who were already members, they started inviting their other family and inviting friends and persons who used to go to the church and left because there wasn't a pastor or didn't like the previous pastor,
all that stuff.
All of the stuff that comes with it. And so people started coming. And after a while, we just started changing the look of the church. And for us, it was more about showing people that we care, showing people that we love them. And that's my encouragement.
That's John 13, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell people that the trademark to discipleship is love, right? That's what Jesus says. He says, "By this, all men will know you're my disciples, by the way you have love for one another." So
he said a new command.
A new command.
Which doesn't seem new, but it is.
It is, right? Yeah. And so, I'm looking at your shirt. Your shirt is a Nike shirt. Well, I wouldn't know that it's a Nike shirt if it didn't have a Nike logo. And so how can I identify a disciple? By the way you have love for one another. And so we can say it, but if we don't do it and demonstrate it, then people don't really understand.
Look it out.
Exactly, right? Exactly. And so, so the church started growing, and we started really kind of busting at the seams. People were like walking to church, they were parking down the street. And so we started looking at, other properties and wanting to build and all this stuff. And they were like, "Pastor, we just want a church." And I'm like, there are no churches available. Right. As God would have it, 2015.
Okay.
I was canvassing the neighborhood trying to get to learn, the city of Greenville or whatever. And I saw a church that was vacant. And I was like, Lord, I sure would love to have that church. But any new pastor knows you don't go a year and say, let's move to another church. Right. I just prayed and I drove off. 2018, December, I got a call from the very first pastor I met. Named Kelly Reagan. I had to give him a shout out. Kelly Reagan, white pastor, because I believe, heaven, that's what heaven's going to look like. I don't do just one-sided church. And man, he called me and I was sitting at Chili's, and so we were talking. He goes, "Man, a little birdie told me you were looking for a church." And I was like, who, what little birdie? He was like, I can't tell you. He was like, but hey, I think I have a church coming available, and I want you to look at it. And I was like, okay, well, you're giving me butterflies, so send me the address and let me go look at it. He sends me the address. It's the same church that I prayed for in 2015. January 2019, we met at 2:00. I prayed, he prayed, our congregations prayed together, and he handed me the keys and walked out of the building.
Pastor, you just don't see that happen very often.
Listen, he handed me the keys and walked out of the building. I was like, wait, we haven't been approved. We have to go to the bank. And we said, yeah, he said, the Lord said, this is your building. July 2019, July like 31st, 2019.
That's like 5 years in for you approximately.
Yes, 5 years in. We got everything approved. The property was valued at $1.4 million.
Goodness.
He sold it to us for $250,000. Wow. And I mean, it was like insane. Just the thought. 7 acres of property. Literally, we were on 3.5 acres of property. And you're talking about double?
Sure.
Like, God literally displayed double to us, right? And so we're on 7 acres of property. Fourth Sunday in August 2019, okay. As clear as I'm talking to you, I heard the Lord say, this church will be paid off in 2 years. Now, I'm a little crazy at times, and I thought it, I heard it, I said it, and they were looking at me like, he has lost his mind. Right. Of course, I felt like I lost my mind too. I was laid on the couch, and I was like, Lord, what is going on?
What did I just say?
It was like out loud too, right? So, as you would believe, March 2020 happens, right?
Yeah.
COVID. I'm like, this is not happening. We have a $1,700 note.
Yeah, the 2-year window, all of a sudden looking really bad, right?
Right, it's horrible. Like, and so I'm like, COVID is like for real here. People are not coming to church. Like, Lord, what are we going to do? 1 year, 4 months, and 28 days. Our church was paid.
To be exact. See that?
Yeah, exactly. 1 year, 4 months, and 28 days. Our church was paid.
Wow. You know, one of the phrases we use in Pave is, if you can explain what God is doing in your church, yeah, it's probably not God who's doing it. If you can explain, and there's no explanation for that kind of.
I can't, even today, I still can't explain it. I mean, I can tell you the details of what happened and how we got there, but I also learned that, yes, God did his part, but that's divine sovereignty. But then there's this human responsibility that we still have to love people. We still have to treat people right. We still have to show people that we care. And so that was really the essence of the ministry that really got people to come into the church, because they were like, it was just so different, And I just believe as pastors, we have to ensure that we love people, even when we don't feel like it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we have to stand at the back of the door. We have to hug people and kiss the seniors on the forehead, throw the babies in the air, twirl them around, that kind of thing. And I don't know who said it. A lot of people are taking credit for it, but I heard a pastor say once, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Absolutely.
And so you can give them all the biblical language and knowledge that you have, but if they feel that they can't touch you.
But it's funny because how you're describing it all goes back to your very first day of being loving. And of course, that's, as we got to know one another, that's just who you are. Like you're full of laughter and joy, but that helps us think about another phrase we talked about beforehand, and we talk about in Pave a lot. Display the church you need to become.
Yes.
So tell us more about how that Pastor Eric, just setting the tone, right? Because if you don't set the tone for the congregation, somebody will.
Absolutely.
And if no one in the church sets a tone for the congregation, the enemy will.
Absolutely.
So tell us about how you just being yourself, the Lord is taking the EB that I know and love, and just using your personality, your ways to help the church display the church you need to become.
Well, early on, the Lord downloaded this in my spirit, that he took 12 disciples and influenced the world. And so instead of trying to get everybody on board with that's myself, I took 3 people.
Okay.
The Peter, James, and John.
Sure.
Right. I took those 3 inner circle people, and I just loved on them and poured into them. So that way, as John Maxwell said, it's the law of E.F. Hutton, right? That when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody listens. And yeah, people listen. And so what happened for me is I found the E.F. Hutton. I loved on them. allowed them to see who I am. So then they could speak to others, the others in the congregation, about who I am. Because I can say it, I can even show it, but there's still some skepticism, right?
Sure. Especially early
Based
on,
on,
for
yeah,
couple years. Yeah.
based on previous hurts, previous leadership,
Yeah.
previous experiences.
Or their experiences at different church.
As a different church, yeah, exactly, right. And so I spent time with those people. We went out to eat. We would go to breakfast. We would just hang out at the church. We would just spend time. I'd be like, hey, let's eat some pizza. Obviously, I can't eat cheese, so my pizza was a little different than everybody else's. But it was just like, hey, let's hang out. Let's play dominoes. Let's do that. Because I wanted people to not only see the pastor me. I wanted people to see the person.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Right. And so with that, they begin to see, okay, this guy is not as bad. He really does have a good heart. He really does have good intentions for the church.
And we forget how people view us.
Absolutely.
So if you're a pastor listening, you totally get this. Like when your church members see you at the grocery store, it's not like seeing their neighbor.
Yeah.
Somehow we become the walking, talking Holy Spirit for so many of them.
Absolutely.
So they just need to know that, hey, we are real flesh and blood.
Absolutely.
We can have fun. We can hurt.
Yep.
We can rejoice. We have problems.
Yep.
And so by doing that, you're letting them know, hey, I'm not made out of plastic.
Exactly. I once saw a guy at a basketball game, and it was his birthday or whatever. And of course, I didn't know he was going to be there. He didn't know I was going to be there, but I'm walking around, and he says, he didn't see me. He was there listening to the band. It was after the game. And I walked up on him, and I just squeezed him real tight. And he was like, oh, my God, Pastor. I was like, man, happy birthday, man. Just wanted to give you a shout out, that. And he was like, I just love you so much. And again, you just never know what people are experiencing. So for me, that's what God allowed me to do, is show my personality. Full transparency. I've done a lot of series and preaching and teaching.
Yeah.
The longest series that I've done since I've been there is on love.
Okay.
It's been on love.
Okay.
Because I just really believe that is the bedrock of who we should be and what we should display and demonstrate, so that people feel that, because you don't know where people are coming from. You don't know, again, their experiences. Our churches, if I just talk about people's experiences, some people have come from abusive relationships. Some people have come from broken homes. Some people have come from some broken experience, right? Be it an ex something. All of us are ex something,
Sure.
right?
Yes.
And so all of us are, I just try to love people through that. And my members will speak. Pastor's not judgmental at all. No, how can I judge you? And I always tell people, God has never used a perfect person to speak to imperfect people.
Okay, slow that down a little bit. Just say that again. Talk us through it.
God has never used a perfect person to speak to imperfect people. If you go through biblical antiquity, you can see Abraham lied, right? God still used him. Moses killed a man, buried him in the sand. God still used him. Noah, listen, he was stressed out. He had to preach the same message and build an ark. He over and over, and he drank a lot, right? And God still used him. David made the decisions that he made, and God still used him. And even Peter, who vowed to always be with the Lord. Listen, I'm a rider. I'm ride or die. I'm with you. And Jesus told him exactly what he would do. But here's the good news. Even after his mistake and after his denial, here's what Jesus says. Go tell my disciples.
Yeah. And Peter. And they're great.
That is like those two words, the and Peter, it's the gospel of inclusion, right? That even though you messed up and even though you made a mistake, you're still included.
That's
right. And so that's how I live. That's how I pastor. That's how I love people, that no matter what you did, he already died for it, right? And I have this phrase that I use, that he died for it so you don't have to die from it.
Oh, wow.
And I just allow people to just kind of live in that and love people through that.
Because God's grace is real.
Absolutely.
And Pastor, it's real for you. If you're listening today, listen, if you're listening, this is not a Christian phrase, but it's right in line of what we're saying. I saw this a couple of years ago in a time when I was really struggling because my brother passed away. And man, it was rough. And the phrase is, broken crayons still color. Isn't that good? That's really good. So leading from your strengths, leading from your personality. You are a loving person. You're outgoing. You're gregarious, right? Everybody loves Pastor EB, right? Wait, what do they call you?
some people call me Pastor E, some people call me Pastor B, some people could call me Pastor EB, it just.
But now tells you, Eric.
Nobody calls me Eric. I just answered. I just, Pastor what? Okay, I answer.
I've been known as Papa J, Pastor J for most of my career. So now that I'm a grandfather, I'm Papa J. But anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
So setting that tone early on, 6 people in a Bible study group, 14, 15 people your first day. So walk us through, and you talked about COVID paying, the church has paid off, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us about the growth since then, because not many people have been able to grow. Post-COVID's been tough and different.
Yeah, post-COVID has been different. Actually, let me go back pre-COVID. So again, the church has grown numerically, of course, financially, spiritually, things like that.
Right.
And so we moved to this place. Here's the truth. Some people left because we moved to a new location.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
That as a pastor was so difficult for me to understand. God is blessing you with more and better.
Yeah.
Why would that offend you?
Yeah.
And so some people left.
People get attached to the location.
To the location, absolutely.
Sometimes they're attached to the location and not necessarily the Lord.
That's good. Yeah. That's real good. And so what happened is we get to the new location, COVID happens, obviously people stop coming to church. Well, people can't come to church.
Right.
And then we had a issue where first church closed in Greenville, last church to open up. And we opened 2021, not first Sunday in April. That was Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. 12 people, including myself and my wife, got COVID.
Oh, got COVID.
Yeah.
You're
talking, wait, what? We've been closed all this time. One person who was on my ministerial staff, who was literally my Naomi. If I were a Ruth, she was the Naomi.
Yeah.
And it rocked me to my core. So much so that I took a lot of heat from outside people. The attacks. He doesn't care about his people. He only cares about money. He's not worried about anybody's health and all of that stuff. And so what happens when that kind of rhetoric is being spewed on Facebook or even phone calls and texts? Then people stop coming to church.
Wow.
So we had to live through all of that.
Right.
Well, post-COVID, the Lord allowed us to be restored from that. So then we had a different demographic of people start coming.
Yeah, okay.
Here's the shout. The shout for me is I had always told the church from the time I got there that we would be a multicultural church. Okay. And I've heard, some people, well, Pastor, we've had Hispanics come to our church, or Latinos. We've had white people come to our church.
So just to be sure, because you were an African-American church.
Very much African-American.
That's been the history of the church.
Yeah, very much African-American. In a racist city. Greenville's very much known for its racism, right? And so they're looking at me like, this guy's crazy, right? So 2022, we start seeing that change. 2023, we really start seeing that change. 2024, now we're there.
Wow.
Now we have that different demographic, and it's more of a mosaic of what heaven is.
That's a great. So the church is multicultural, but the word mosaic is fantastic.
Yeah, it is very much multicultural, and we have people, from different cities right there in Hunt County, be it Celeste, be it Wolf City, Greenville, Lono, just different places. And so I'm like so excited now because this is what I've always believed God wanted for us. Because again, for us, we always wanted to be a standard of what God, of a biblical church. Let me say it that way. We wanted to be a standard of what God wanted us to look like. And so for me, that was huge. That racism is non-existent in this church. You can come as you are. You can look how you look, whatever your background is, whatever your dress code is, just come.
You're going to be loved.
We're going to love you.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't care if you smell like alcohol. I don't care if you smell like marijuana. I don't care if you smell like the club last night. I just want you to come because it's not my job to clean you. It's God's job to do.
Right.
It's my job to love you.
Only the gospel could do.
Yeah. It's my job to love you. Right. And so our church has become that. So we have a mixture in our youth department. We have a mixture in our women's ministry. We have a mixture in our men's ministry, and everybody is serving.
Yeah.
And so now it's wonderful.
So, the churches have mission statements, and I have a life mission statement, like a ministry statement for myself. It's meet people where they are.
Yeah.
And lead them to grow in a relationship with Christ.
That's good.
If we don't meet people where they are, right, then what do we do with the ministry of Christ?
Exactly.
What do we do with Jesus who says, "Hey, bring the children to me"?
Yeah.
He gladly sits down with quote unquote sinners, knowing who they are and what they have done.
Yeah.
But he also gives them the grace of Christ.
Yeah.
He gives them the opportunity to respond to his
Absolutely.
And if our churches, right, if they become these places that are just sterile and imperfect, then they die.
Exactly.
Because they don't live like the gospel. They should be the place where sinners come to for answers, right?
Yeah.
And come to for hope and come to for encouragement. But what they receive, what they walk out with, is being loved and knowing that Christ loves them and that the gospel can set them free.
Absolutely.
From whatever they may be suffering from. One of my mentors, his name is John Lockhart, he used to always say, even just thinking about the church, like church people, on every row, if we took the time every Sunday, on every row, there's a new story every week that would break our hearts.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It's so true that people, right? But this is the answer for the world.
Yes.
The gospel of Jesus Christ carried out by the church is the hope of the entire world. No matter what you may be experiencing, no matter what you need to be delivered from, God is able.
Absolutely.
That's what the church is supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Right? But it becomes something else over time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
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 So tell us now then, what is what's the growth of the church been like? So 14, 15 people, multicultural, been there for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So what does the attendance look like over that amount of time?
So pre-COVID, we were averaging 150, 175 kind of, post-COVID, we're back now. We're like 125, 130, that kind of thing. And it's crazy because even though social media for some is like, hey, that's my go-to, I just want to watch online. There's some people who really desire that synergy and that experience of just being in God's presence. It's in the worship experience with other people. And so that's what we look like on Sundays.
So that's amazing because I think if you've, of course, we know one another well, but if you're listening to the Pave Podcast for the first time today, the Lord allowed me to pastor a church from 25 people and $1.06 to a church of 250, 350 people.
Yeah.
It just takes time, right? It takes time. So one of the phrases we talk about in Pave is don't microwave the brisket.
Yeah.
Right. There's no cheese in that. So it's safe. Right. So talk a little bit about 10 years, longevity, just consistency, taking your time. Because I have no doubt, leading with love in a growing community. This church is going to continue to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no doubt. And you have space to expand out with 7 acres, right? Which is awesome. So talk with us about pace a little bit. Don't microwave the brisket. Help pastors understand what pace looks like in a church revitalization setting.
There is this recommendation that at least for the first year, don't change anything.
Yeah.
Right. Well, some things you have to address. Some things come up that may need adjusting or tweaking or even just a change altogether. Right. And those things are necessary. However, my recommendation to all pastors, which is what I did, is preach it and teach it before you do it. Oftentimes, when you're trying to kill a thing, you have to allow people that moment to even understand what's going on.
Yeah, die with dignity. Let die with dignity and grace. Right,
please, right, and then allow them to go through that grieving process. Kind of what we talk about in Pave, right? Allow them to go through that grieving process because it's very real to them, right? And this was their church many years before you ever became the pastor.
Yeah, yep.
And so allow them that space and opportunity. And if you need to have, extra moments after church or, just one-on-one conversations with people who may be struggling with the transition, then do that.
Yep.
Right? Lead people through that.
Yeah, love them well. You talk about this so well today.
Yeah.
But if we if we just get up there and say, hey, everyone, we're changing this next week, then you're firing yourself.
Automatic.
But what's even worse, honestly, is you're hurting people.
Absolutely.
You're hurting the people whose shoulders you stand on. So you're saying, love and well, bring them along.
A lot of them are tethered to the name tag that's on the side of the pew because their grandmother or their mother, donated that pew or donated money to that.
The whole podcast right there.
Or to the windows that are in that place and somebody donated to that. Or even the piano that's out of tune that's sitting there and nobody even plays it.
If it can't be tuned anymore because it's so old.
Listen, it's done, right? And you just lift the thing up, the whole thing's going to fall apart. Right. But at the same time, that means something to them. It was interesting because the layout of the first church that we were in, it required us to kind of go up the stairs, down, around kind of thing. And so that's where the fellowship hall was. Well, because we were feeding people that day, we had to kind of redirect them. And so we needed to put signs up so people could follow the sign. Well, there was a picture on a wall.
Okay.
And so I moved the picture. And Lord, I thought that was the end of me.
Yeah.
And I only moved the picture so we could put directions up.
Yeah.
And I mean, the lady, she cried.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't believe you took this picture down. She said, I paid for this frame in 1971.
Yeah.
I remember.
See, I was born.
I was like, I wasn't even alive.
Right.
And she was so heartbroken because she thought that we had taken the picture down forever. And so, of course, I had to explain to her what we were doing and that, but again, if I was arrogant, if my approach was, well, I'm the pastor, then these are the decisions that I made, irrespective to how you feel. That could have turned the whole family away, right? That could have turned her away, her kids, her grandkids, great-grandkids, and
all the possibilities.
All the possibilities. And of course, created more problems for those in the church who love her.
Sure.
Right? And so I just believe in, taking your time, learning those sacred cows in that church.
Find them.
Yeah, find them, learn them, and then just lead people through those transitions. Yeah. Everything is not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, and that doesn't even happen in 2-3 years.
Absolutely.
That's why it's 10 years.
Yes.
That you've been there, and the Lord has been continuing to use you that whole time.
Yeah, I was there 3 years before we took the paneling off the wall. That paneling at 32, I was 35 at that time, paneling was driving me up the wall. But I understood. We had some brass, some of those brass flower holders that were right there on the side. The flowers were like this tall, right? And I couldn't even see the people. They were so tall. And I moved them and the lady was like, I made those flowers. I was like, ma'am, I can't see the people. I can't see the people. But again, teach it and preach it before you do it. Help lead those people through those transitions. Allow them that space to understand what's going on. And then allow them that space to grieve before. I tell people, change isn't hard.
Yeah.
I really do not believe change is hard. I believe it's the transition. It wasn't the getting to the other side that was it wasn't the other side that was the problem for the disciples in Mark chapter 4. It was getting there. Because sometimes, as Dr. Tolan Morgan said, transitions look like tragedies. And that's the hard part, right? The hard part is getting there. But once you're there, people are a little more accepting. But I just believe taking your time, loving the people, leading them through that. And people need the details. If you don't disclose the details, then they create the narrative.
Right. Yeah.
And so be detailed, be transparent, be honest, let them know what you're doing.
Give them time to accept it. It's all the time. We talk in Pave about challenge, change, progress. Yes. You can't change anything until you first challenge them. Part of challenging them is just educating them, help them understand. Look, on the other side of the Jordan, there is something that's truly vast. It's just, we got to get through these. Well, we thought were going to be waters, but look, the Lord made it dry. He made the way straight, of course, and walkable.
Exactly. Yes. So I just encourage all pastors, just take your time. A lot of times pastors want to jump to a ready-made church. And the challenge with that is, well, if they're there and they have arrived to where they want to be, and that's what attracted you, you think you're going to go in there and make changes? No.
Right.
We did this without you, sir.
Yeah.
And we don't need you to come and try to change it.
We were here long before you. We'll probably be here long after.
Yeah,
right. They said.
So that's my thing. Just love people step by step.
Well, Pastor, Pastor EB,
Yes, sir.
Eric Brown,
That's it.
but we didn't ask this question at the beginning. Do you actually have a middle name?
I do. I do have a middle name, Eric Anthony Brown. And truthfully, I go by that.
Okay.
Yeah, I go by that.
Where does Anthony come from?
My grandmother.
Your grandmother's name was Anthony.
No, she named me. She's like, his name was Eric Anthony Brown. It's like, okay, I don't know where that came from, but okay, cool.
Well, Pastor Eric Anthony Brown of a great church, of New Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church in Greenville, Texas. Man, thanks for your time today. It's so great to even hear more and learn more about what God is doing. Don't microwave the brisket. It's gonna take time. You're 10 years in.
Yeah.
You got years to go, but God is faithful.
Yeah.
He's faithful, and He will do it.
Absolutely.
He will do it. Well, thanks for listening to the Pave Podcast today. You can learn more about Texas Baptist at txb.org, txb.org. And to learn more about the ministries of Pave, the Texas Baptist Church Health, Growth, and Revitalization Ministry, you can go to txb.org/pave. That's txb.org/pave. Let's go have some queso, man.
Let's do it.
You can't have queso. All right. Everybody, you have a good day. Thanks for joining us.
Bless you.